Most people would probably agree that a 2x4 post like the one in my hands is very plentiful. And they're very inexpensive. And honestly, there's nothing special about this. You can show up at Home Depot, you can purchase an 8-foot length, have them at the store cut it in half, and you've got 2 posts for your steel target systems. But what if you are a high volume range? What if you are somebody who might see thousands of shooters in a year? Or maybe you're a private range of your own, it's your own land, and you're training for yourself to be a better prepared citizen, but you just shoot more than most people. And what if you want to leave your targets out year round and you don't feel like having these swelling boards in your bases or your top brackets, or having to worry about whether or not you should bring new lumber every time you come to the range? Well, we came up with a solution years ago that we dubbed the armored posts, and we sold them in multiple different configurations. And our objective with this particular product was to offer a solution for anybody who we would deem as a high volume shooter. These high volume shooters are the ones that want to spend more time shooting, less time maintaining. Now, I will admit that a 2x4 post is going to last for quite some time on any of our ADAP target systems, but as you can see with the Mini ADAP as an example beside me, they have a pretty steep forward lean. As the bullet fragmentation is occurring, that fragmentation will chew up your 2x4 fairly quickly. So it is going to be a consumable item that people would have to replace over time. And the people that are high volume shooters or have the availability of their own range would prefer to have a solution that is permanent. So we released these armored posts as that solution. They are an added cost to our systems, but over time, they do save you money if you are constantly replacing boards or maintaining your range. So back at the beginning, we offered them in 3 different heights. We had our 36-inch armored post, we had a 48-inch armored post, and for a brief period of time, we even had a 60-inch armored post for our ADAP systems. And they worked great. They solved the problem of having a more long-term solution for any of our ADAP target systems. But there was a dilemma. And that dilemma was they were fairly inefficient to produce because of their shape and their size. And they also were fairly difficult to ship because of their length and their width. We had different posts failing in transit with boxes popping open, or UPS or FedEx truck drivers or whoever the shipping company was blowing boxes out, and then the posts wouldn't necessarily make it all the time to the customer. And we found that we were replacing posts at a rate that to me was not acceptable. So we knew that we had to get a solution that would check off all the boxes. It would allow less maintenance for our users on their ranges. It would be more portable. We also wanted a bit more functionality out of the posts. And by that I mean adjustability. And we wanted that post to come in at a little bit lower price point than what people were used to paying for the armored posts in the past. So what we came up with was the new adjustable armored post. And I have one of these beside me with this Mini ADAP target system. Now from the front, everything looks very similar to the older armored post, but obviously you can see that there's a step and there's multiple pieces here. And I'm going to show you on the ground in a second how this post works and how it is adjustable. Now, one of the major changes that we do have with this post is you are going to need a socket and a wrench, or just a crescent wrench of some type to tighten the nuts. So it's a 3/4 inch socket, 3/4 inch open end wrench. There are some tools that you're going to need to get this thing together, but I'll explain and I'll show you in depth how we're going to do that. And it is a very simple process. And once you set it to the height that you want, it's permanent. You're done. You don't have to worry about it other than just checking those nuts every once in a while. Talking about the material of the post, it is still our high quality AR-550 material. And that means that stray bullets that strike it are going to glance off of that. Now, obviously these posts are not meant to be targets themselves, and we don't recommend shooting at the hardware. There are going to be stray hits on the components and things like that, and the hardware is a consumable item if you find that you are shooting it over time. But other than that, it's the same high quality material, and it is going to resist any wear and tear from that secondary fragmentation that's occurring off the plate. So it's going to be a more permanent solution for you, so you can stop worrying about 2x4 posts. You can focus more of your time and your energy on shooting. So now that I've talked about the post a little bit, I want to go down here on the ground and just show you guys how this post works. And I think you're going to like it because it is a very simple solution, and I'm all about keeping everything as simple as possible when we're offering any product to our customers. So right off the bat, we've got 3 pieces. We've got a welded bottom, In the past, our armored post actually kind of had a little notch, and there was a piece of tube steel that slid up in and got welded. We quickly moved away from that and we created this sort of H-style bracket. And the reason for that is it's more efficient for us to produce. And when we're talking about efficiency in production, there's a couple things that drive that. And there's a couple reasons I really care about that. The first is I don't want to waste materials. There's not an infinite amount of raw materials on this planet that we know of, and I want to be a good steward of the resources that we have. So if I can find efficiencies in our products that make it easier to produce, we can fit more on a sheet, that's better for us. It's better for us as people. The secondary benefit to that is I get to offer them at oftentimes lower prices than what we did in the past. And even in situations where we see rapid inflation, finding efficiencies like this that actually make the product better at the same time make it so we don't have to jack prices up over time. So this armored post, the bottom half of this is a win. I love it, and I can't wait to explain a little bit more about it. What you're gonna notice is there's two sets of holes on this as well. And I'm gonna talk about what these are about in a second, but obviously they are for hardware. The new armored post will ship with 6 of these grade 8 carriage bolts with mechanical lock nuts. And that's important. We want to run the grade 8 because it's more resistant to stray bullet impact. It's going to resist the fragmentation, so it's a longer service life with this hardware. So you've got 6 of those guys. In most of the configurations, you really are only going to need to run 4 of those bolts, but you do have the option to run 6 in the collapsed length, and I'll show you that in a second. The next 2 components that come in the box are the ADAP top bracket piece up here, and it's kind of cute. It looks just like our ADAP top bracket, but obviously there's no tube steel here for the 2x4 post. It just bolts onto this splice plate. And what makes this so unique is the fact that there's multiple hole configurations. So at minimum, you have 3 different adjustment settings for your post. And if I would use the top bracket in this configuration, the way I have it here, and then take this armored post and place it right over top like that, I have a 4-foot post. If I would simply drop it back down and line up these 2 holes, now I have a 3-foot post. And this is that configuration where I said you could also add 2 more bolts down here in the bottom if you wanted to have 6 bolts on this post to keep it extremely rigid. Now, most people aren't going to need to shoot with the 3-foot setting, but our bullet traps often will run the 3-foot setting. And that's why that adjustability is so important. If you wanted to go to a 3'6" setting, you would remove these posts, or these bolts right here. You remove these 2. You would actually flip this thing 180 degrees and bolt the top bracket to these holes down here, and then you could reposition it on this bottom post and you have some more adjustability if for some reason you don't want to run it in the 4-foot setting. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this does require some basic hand tools. So just getting that out right off the bat, you do need to have a 3/4 inch socket of some sort with an impact or a wrench like this, or you're gonna need an open-ended wrench to get this thing put together. As far as caliber ratings of any of these posts, they are rated just like all of our other target systems for all of the standard calibers that you would run the target plate. I did state that these are not meant for shooting as a target. I can't stress that enough. This is not a steel target that you want to shoot. It is a post that is designed to take the abuse and be a reduction in wear and tear and a longer lifespan of your system in general. The last thing that I did want to talk about that you have to be careful of with this top bracket is you don't necessarily want to loosen these 2 bolts and drop it down to this setting here. And the reason why is on the other side, this bar will actually cover up some of these holes on the side. So just be aware as you are setting up your post that you don't want anything covering these holes on the top. The reason why is this can also accept our hostage bracket and our paddles. So if you are running the hostage bracket and paddle, you're gonna wanna make sure that you keep these clear so that the hardware can go through. If you're not running the hostage, you wouldn't necessarily care about that, and you could just unbolt these 2 nuts and drop it down into the lower holes. It will overlap a little bit on this side right over here. These holes up here will be covered by this upright. Again, if you're not running a hostage, not a big deal. If you are running a hostage, it is extremely important that you maintain that. The last thing that I wanted to say is if you look at this system, it steps forward in the front. And the reason that that's important is it's helping to add some stiffness to the post. The bottom H setup keeps the flex side to side to a minimum. But if you're setting up your post and you find out that you've bolted everything together and this forward slanted section is actually on the back, you have it backwards. And what that would look like if I take this post is like that. If you find that it is slanting toward the back, that is technically backwards. We designed it to go forward like that. So as you guys can see, that is an extremely simple way to add some durability to your systems. These are available on our website. This makes it super simple for you. You don't have to debate between a 36-inch post, a 48-inch post, or maybe something in between. You can buy one post, it does it all for you. It's made of the same high quality materials that you're used to seeing from all of our products. All the welds, everything like that is backed by our warranty, just like all of our other 3/8-inch AR550 target systems. So you can rest assured knowing that it's a quality product. If you are a high volume shooter, you can rest assured knowing that you're not gonna have to worry about your range as to whether or not you have to replace boards, what's the condition of your boards. You don't have to lug lumber back and forth. You can just focus on training and becoming a better asset. And that's what we're all about at TA Targets, is equipping you with the tools to become a better protector of life. So if you think these are a good fit for you, check them out on our website. There's gonna be a link in the description. That website again is tatargets.com. Let us know in the comments what you think about this. And as always, guys, we appreciate you. We appreciate your support. We'll catch you in the next one.